the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to INCRadio New York. I'm Brother Christian Rockapour, one of your hosts for today's episode. And with me today is Sister Mika Jamawas and Sister Abigail Hidalgo. And I hope you are ready to talk about one of our few main topics for this coming month. And of course, I know January felt so long because I felt like January felt forever. But now that it is February, we have new topics for you here on INCRadio. And our main topic today is talking about one of the many things that are very fast-paced and how we are always well connected in this world, and that means our digital lives. And we know how our digital lives can quickly become cluttered with a lot of emails, apps, photos, and of course, many files that we may use for work, for school, or whatever else that we need to do. And for some of us, this can be a little bit overwhelming because of all of this digital mess. And for us, it's time for a little reset. So here on INCRadio New York, we're going to talk about how we're going to clear ourselves from this digital chaos and create a simpler, more organized online life. And this begins your digital detox. Now, we're going to talk about many ways of how we can do this. And of course, as we start off, what are some ways we can begin to declutter our digital space? I'm going to pass it on to Atamika to talk about how she would deal with this. How would you deal with your digital space, Atamika?
So first of all, hello everyone. Thank you so much for being on with us today. Brother Christian just went straight on to our main.
You know, we can't waste. We gotta declutter, and that means we have to be on point with things.
Yes, declutter your email first, Brother Christian, before you talk to me about that. I guess, well, it's, I was just talking about this earlier, right? What are some ways we can begin to declutter our digital space? So a lot of us go online all the time, right? And I know we like to buy stuff online. And that first time that you buy something, they always ask you to subscribe to get a 10% off. And then after you buy something, you never unsubscribe. So all of a sudden you are subscribed to 100 different websites, and your inbox or your spam is constantly, you're getting a bunch of spam emails from them. So I guess don't forget to unsubscribe to some of them. Make sure you mark them as spam so they don't go to your inbox. I know for some emails, they kind of sort stuff for you, right? There's a tab on the email that I use so there's your inbox, your regular inbox. There's a tab for promotions, and then there's a tab for social media. So if you're on social media, whatever websites you're in, they have that sorted, which is good because then it gets easier to delete all the stuff that you don't necessarily need. So that's one way we can kind of declutter. What about you, Sister Abby? What do you think are things that we can do to declutter our digital space?
I mean, I try to actively delete stuff, especially from my email. And then surprisingly, with technology, I just realized on my cell phone that I get notifications that, oh, you haven't used this app for a long time. So we're going to not enable it. What do they call it?
Put it to sleep or
Put
something.
it to sleep. And I was just like, oh, that's actually. And then like you look through the list and you're like, yeah, I haven't used this app. So then it's just taking up space or memory on your phone. So I actually delete it or uninstall it, and then it like kind of frees up my phone. I personally don't like clutter, so I like to clean things and make it a habit, at least maybe once a month, to like go through my stuff and like get stuff that I give away, or throw away stuff that I don't need.
Yeah, so you know what's funny? Earlier, I just had like a notification. I was trying to record a video, and it says, "You're running out of space on your phone." So I had to. There's an option where you can like delete stuff off of your phone so that you can make more space for new things. And yeah, there are a good amount of apps that I have installed on my phone that I have not used in months. So we'll talk later about how often we can like clean up our digital space, but like constantly checking your phone or your email is really important. Like deleting stuff that you don't really need. But I feel like my brother Christian might have like a different idea, because you take a lot of photos, and I feel like a lot of young people take a lot of photos nowadays, and there's like so much memories, and you don't want to delete all of the pictures. So what do you do with all the photos and videos that you take?
Honestly, for me, it's I feel like I've done like the way I've done it is like sort out what photos and videos I want to keep, and if it's something that like I want to cherish or like I want to keep forever, I would have this other app or another storage place that I can put it into, and I'll just keep it in there so that the original photo of it is stored somewhere safely, and then I can delete everything else on my phone. But don't take it from me, because sometimes I don't even get to do all of this because of the fact that we're not always constantly looking through our the photos app or something else that we have in our phones, and looking through every single photos that we may have and try to delete them and try to sort out. I feel like that just takes a lot of time and effort, right? But for me, what I find helpful is another app that lets you kind of sort out it sorts out your entire library for you and like finds duplicates and stuff, so that kind of helps out with like deleting it right away. So that's
so interesting.
There's a lot of things that we can do nowadays compared to how we can do things back then, so that's really a great way for us to take advantage of the many things that we have now, kind of like
Brother Christian calling Sister Abby and I old.
No, you guys aren't old. I'm just very
just experienced, I guess.
was just born young.
Okay, Brother Christian.
I'm sorry.
So, and also the funny thing is too, Brother Christian's talking about all of this and cleaning up stuff. He showed us his phone earlier and his email.
Do I even want to? Should I show the viewers right now what what it is? All right. For those
having unread emails.
Unread emails, right? So on my phone, my mail app is literally you can see it. It's
oh my
23,000. Oh, I don't even want to read the full number, but it's in that range. And honestly, it was worse before this. It was 34K. So let's just say I did a great job deleting old emails.
Well, my question, like for certain emails, they have like different categories. Like they have primary, promotions, updates, or whatnot. So is that all of the emails you receive, Brother Christian? Because like I my main inbox is pretty low. Like I try to keep it under 50 unread, but usually it's like, but my other ones, because those are like the promotions and whatnot, those get like to the thousands, but I get kind of annoyed, so I go through them and delete them.
Well, to be fair, I have two emails on my phone that's
Okay.
saved. So the first email is kind of like my personal email. So that's like, you know, work, school, church, like all of those things. That's the email that I use for that. And then my second email is what I use for shopping or whatever. So all my subscriptions go
okay.
into that one and social media. So, but I think
Yeah.
majority of my email is the one I use for social media because it does give you a notification every time, but you just don't see it because when you use social media, the notifications you get, you see it from the actual app. You don't get an email saying, "Oh, this person messaged you," like that on an email, like, you know, because again, all of those stuff go to like spam and stuff, right? Or the socials tab that Sister Mika was talking about. So
So actually, what you're talking about brings up a good point, right? And also one of the other things, social media. We're all on social media, and when we get those notifications from the app itself, you know, sometimes you have to go to like your privacy settings. So you have to change your settings so that you don't get an email notification anymore. Because I know in some, I have to change it. I still get like an email aside from getting a notification. So, you know, it's like, it's a lot. I mean, if it's important, then it makes sense, right? In our like group chat, like for like a work group chat, if I don't answer one of the chats, it emails me that, oh, you have an unread message on this app, you know.
for me, it's not an email. Like, for example, like a messaging app. Like, I mean, it tells you that someone messaged you and you just haven't replied on it, and it says like, it says how X amount of days that this person texted you. So, like for example, if you texted me on an app, on this particular app, and then I don't respond to you for 3 days, later on that day, I would say, it would remind me like, oh, Mika has not you messaged you 3 days ago. Would you like to reply? That kind of.
Yeah, I mean, that's good if it's like for work because, you know, it could be something important. But if it's just, you know, social, I don't need that email. So if you're like me, turn off those notifications or like
Send them to spam.
unsubscribe from getting that email notification, right? And then you also mentioned, Brother Christian, about multiple emails, right? So one you use for, you know, professional, one for church, and then one for like when you go shopping. So then at least all of your like spam stuff goes there. What are some of the things that you think everyone can do to like kind of clean up their like social media or like their email stuff?
You want to clean up your social media, get off of social. No, kidding. Honestly, I mean, you can get off of social media. That is one of the solutions if you want to stop getting an email, right? But I think again, it goes all back to those privacy settings that you discussed. You can easily just maybe send all of those emails that you get from a certain social media app that you use, and then it can go straight to spam, and then so that you're not getting it. And then you can set, I think, I'm not sure how it is, but there is a setting on your email app or whatever, or whichever app that you use, and you can set it to how many days would you like to keep it in storage in the spam folder, and then it will delete it automatically after those certain days. So I think for me, my spam folder is set to 30 days. So after 30 days, if I haven't looked at it, it'll automatically get rid of it for me. So, but again, that 23,000 that I have is just my daily life.
Another thing for like social media accounts, right? Have you ever done like a decluttering of your friends list? are like the people that you follow?
Actually, yes. I've recently
Yeah, I've done that.
yeah, I've recently done this just the start of the new year actually. That was like I need to just see who am I following, who's still active, who's not active. Just see just to declutter and, if you don't really find it necessary in your life to see that particular person, then why keep that, I think that's my
Also
mindset. I don't know about you guys.
curating the stuff that you see on your For You page, right? Like, as I remember, I was following an account, and I don't, like I hyperfixate on things, and that used to be my hyperfixation, but not anymore. So I'm not interested in that anymore. So that's why I unfollowed or I unsubscribed. So, right, I feel like it's also important to, what do you call this? Like unfollow or unsubscribe.
Yeah. And like as you grow and you find what interests you, it's not only like people, but like, you follow some accounts just because of their content, and your interests will change. Like, oh, you're into cooking, like, vegan food or like certain types of food, and now or baking stuff, and now you're like into traveling. So your interests change as you grow and develop, and you find what you like, and then you can change who you follow, those creators or whatnot.
Yes, no, I totally agree. And like I said, like you have to curate what you have on your social media, right? To be updated on what you want to see nowadays. But how often should we clean up our digital space? I know, Sister Abby, you said you try your best to constantly do it. How about you?
It's more of anxiety for me. I don't like seeing a lot of numbers. Like I like things clean. I get worried because the nature of my job and the nature of like what some things I do, like it's very time sensitive. So I really have to check my emails, check my notifications. So it's just like if I see something new, like I don't want to miss it because it could be something important. I try to also change my notification sound. So it's like really intimidating ones are like, you have to answer this now. While like the light and fluffy sounds are like, oh, that's just like my social media. I'll look at that later kind of thing. But it's more like I just don't want to miss something important just because of the nature of my job or my personal life.
I think for me, it's like I'm trying to do something new this year with decluttering. Mainly because every time I open my phone, I do get anxious because of all these numbers I see. But again, Exhibit A, everybody. But I told myself that I'd check in and just try to delete some stuff that I don't need at least once a month, or even every few months would be a good for the start of this year, actually. So I'll let you guys know how that goes at the end of this year.
For me, I like to check, because I feel like Sister Abby, you and I are alike when it comes to a lot of things. Especially, I hate seeing like that notification that you have like unread stuff, whether it's on social media or on my email. So every day, I try to, even on our like the most popular or most used messaging app, right? I hate, and we're in a lot of group chats.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of notifications on there. I have a lot of chats on mute, but I still try to like just mark things as read. Just because I don't like seeing that number, and I do that every day because I feel like every time I see that notification that I have a lot of things that are not read, I get so much anxiety over that. So just for my mental wellness, I try to clean up every week. And what about your files? Do you back up your files, whether on your phone, your laptop?
For me,
I do it on the cloud. First, I don't. I mean, I I need to go through my cloud and delete some unnecessary stuff I save. But especially for like photos, they're all backed up to the cloud because there's certain photos, like for history purposes, especially with church activities. Like, how many times have I been told, like, do you have this picture from like 2002? And I'm like, okay, let me, because just to celebrate all the anniversaries and to like look back at the history of the local or even the church and stuff, like those are like important stuff. So especially photos, I really try to save it to the cloud. And I did have an external hard drive, but I guess with the amount of memory you can purchase or you can have, sometimes an external hard drive it's good to have like a physical thing, but I rarely use that now.
I know. I remember Christian, right? We have an external hard drive. We still haven't filled that drive, but we haven't used it in a while. I have a separate, like an online drive, which is like I feel like everything is online now. But I'm also afraid that what if things happen and I don't know, like the cloud or the drive gets like corrupted or whatnot. Then what if you lose all of these files and photos? So I think it's also definitely important to back things up on like something separate, and something a bit more tangible, just to make sure, especially if it's important stuff, that we always have a copy of it. Right now, we're getting towards. I didn't notice the time. So how does cleaning up our digital space affect our minds? Why is it important for us or for you to clean up your digital space?
Well, I think we kind of touched up on it, especially me and Ate Abby. We talked about how we get anxious seeing these numbers. So obviously anxiety.
I also talked about it, Brother Christian.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Talk about it.
We're all anxious people here. But yeah, anxiety plays a very big role in seeing a bunch of numbers. So, by clearing up our digital space and stuff, it really helps us lower that stress that we have, and it just enhances our mindfulness. And if there's one thing I want to unsubscribe, it's this alarm thing. How do I declutter this from my mind?
Change the battery, Brother Christian.
It's mounted to the wall, so I can't do anything about it.
It doesn't. Anyways, but we digress.
Anyway, back to the main topic. It helps lower our stress and anxiety, and like it helps us become more mindful and in certain things. I feel like that's how much decluttering that digital space can really have that positive effect on our minds.
How about you, Sister Abby?
I just feel like I'm more organized in my thoughts when things are, I guess, clean or decluttered or very minimal. Because my brain kind of gets crazy when there's a lot going on and there's a lot of notifications. And then when you hear your phone or your computer going off, and it's just like, it gets overwhelming when multiple things are catching your attention. So to just minimize the apps, the notifications, or the amount of emails I receive, it really does, again, lower my anxiety, lower my stress level, because then I'm not worried about I'm missing something. I think that's my biggest thing, is that with notifications or anything on digitally, like I'm gonna miss something, and I don't like that feeling, because you don't want to miss something important.
For those of us that have ADHD, like me and Sister and Atamika here, clearing the digital space can also help us improve our focus. So I guess that's
yeah, I was just gonna talk about that actually, because how like when you have like a clean desk, your mind, like your brain is also like clear, and it's easier to focus on things. Because if I have like a bunch of notifications, I'm not going to be able to focus on the work that I'm doing because I'm like, I need to clean this up first.
That is a saying, you know, have if your desk is clear, that means you have a clear mind. So if
yes, you know, it's easier to think, obviously, like once you have a clear mind and you're able to focus, obviously that increases productivity. Sorry. And like we said earlier, it lowers our stress and anxiety. And also, when we talked about like cleaning up our old accounts and stuff. If you like, let's say, have accounts that you don't use anymore and you just like delete them or close them, I feel like it's safer, right? Because if you have old accounts, people can, I don't know, like hack into it or get your information and stuff like that. So that's also very important.
But we will talk about online security on the next topic.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's one of the things that we are going to talk about this month. So very, very excited about that. Yeah, it's very, what do you call this? Important. I feel like I said important like a million times already today.
But it is important, you know, because digital space is what it kind of is, like a reflection of our mind. Like, you know, like the saying, if you don't, a clear desk shows a clear mind. So if your phone is kind of like mine, that means you have a lot of things in your mind and you can't ever focus on getting things out of the way. But, you know, helping you declutter and figuring out how to get organized, it's a great way for you to really get back on track and get that focus that you need. So
I completely agree. People on our YouTube live chat, we have not forgotten about you. Please make sure you give your tips on how you are able to clean up your digital space. Make sure you put your comments on our YouTube live chat or in the comment section. Tell us how often you clean up, or, you know, like you delete stuff, or you back up your files and all of that, and why it's important, how it helps you right in your life. And if we're not able to read that today, we'll definitely read it the next time we are on, so that we can all learn something from each other. So that ends one portion of our broadcast today. We are going to go right ahead and find out what are some of the things that we are going to do in the District of New York. This coming weekend, February 1 and 2, there is a worldwide pamphlet and Pasugo distribution. So if you're available, please make sure that you participate. And the whole district is also preparing for our sports clinic. And our district is very big in sports. We love moving our bodies. How much we move it depends on the person, right? So the sports that we're gonna be tackling for, is it the spring?
yes, spring.
For spring, it's dodgeball, volleyball, and bowling. So all very, very fun sports. If you need more information, please make sure to coordinate with your Christian Family Organizations officer or your resident minister. Okay? What's next, Sister Abby?
I guess we can announce our last week's hashtag winners. So thank you again to all the brethren that participated in the hashtag challenge. This week, it took me a little bit longer to sort through it, but we appreciate all your comments and your shout outs to your local congregation. So for number 3, it's Woodbury. So congratulations to the local congregation of Woodbury. Number 2, all the way up north. I don't know if this is the furthest north. I think we had this as a quiz question, but I don't recall. It's Portland. So Portland, Maine. Congratulations, Portland. And our number 1 hashtag locale is Woodside. So congratulations to the brethren in Woodside. And we would like to recognize our top hashtaggers. Our number 3 is Brother Edgardo Sanka. So congratulations, brother. Number 2 is Sister Aria Pacheco. And number 1 is Brother Fourth from the local congregation of Woodbury. So we'll announce next week's winners. So please stay tuned.
That's right. Keep hashtagging your local congregations and talking to us on the chat. Whatever greetings that we have for today, we are going to read them next week. And don't worry, we will make sure that you are seen. So thank you once again. Do we have any greetings from our hosts before we end?
I guess I'll start it off. Of course, shout out to my parents who may or may not be watching this, but they probably will be. Hello, Mom and Dad, if you're at work. Hoping work is great. And of course, Sister Nicole Kate Fernandez, all the way in Australia West.
I would give a shout out to my local congregation in Bristol and Johnsonville. Congratulations to Johnsonville, and to my parents and my family all around the world.
Oh, it's my turn. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I was deleting emails. Hello to everyone, my family, who may or may not be watching as well. And to, I don't know. Oh, happy birthday, Sister Amy. And that she is my twin, if you do not know. So I don't know if she's going to be watching as well, but I'll make sure she watches so that she can say that I greeted her.
Oh, and happy anniversary to Sister Zaira and Kuya Perry Pabalan, so from Manhattan. So yay!
All right, so that's all for today's show. Thank you once again for tuning in, and thank you to the Church Administration for continuing to give us a platform like this to share and speak about important topics like these. So again, don't forget to catch us again next week on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, or on Sunday at 12:30 a.m. Philippine Time.
And I know all of our topics today talked about decluttering and unsubscribing, but make sure you subscribe to INCRadio here on this channel. And greetings to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, and to our Christian Family Organization Coordinator and CEBSI President, Brother Angela Eranya Manalo. Also, greetings to our INC Radio Station Manager, Brother Wally Taray, and our Executive Producer, Kuya Manly Andaya, and especially to our District Minister, Brother Sheridan Santos, Assistant District Minister, Brother Neil Patrick Omelda. That brings us to the end of this broadcast, our show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone.
Make sure to leave a like.